Igorovi Matovičovi ponúkol pomoc so zabezpečením Sputniku, potom nahneval slovenského ministra zahraničných vecí, keď napriek jeho nesúhlasu prišiel rokovať s poslancom Dimešim o slovenskom zákone o dvojitom občianstve. Prišiel na bezpečnostnú konferenciu Globsec a sedí v štúdiu SME Péter Szijjártó, maďarský minister zahraničných vecí. Welcome.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Let's start with your relationship with Slovakia and Slovak Foreign Minister Ivan Korčok. Recently, you wanted to visit Slovakia, but then in your national news, you said that you want to discuss the issue of dual citizenship. So Ivan Korčok cancelled the visit. Is that correct?
Well, definitely a meeting was scheduled with him. I'm pretty sure, or at least kind of, that the issue of double citizenship would have popped on the agenda. Of course, without any kind of willingness on my side to interfere into domestic issues into other countries. I might have had maybe a question about his position, how he sees that. But then definitely the meeting was cancelled. But we see each other on a very frequent basis, so I mean, it was not a big problem. We see each other basically at least 2-3 times a month because of the Foreign Affairs Council, because of different events. And whenever it's necessary, we can talk to each other on the phone or anyhow. So, I mean, we shouldn't, let's say, overemphasize or we shouldn't exaggerate the significance of that meeting.
That's my next question. Ivan Korčok claimed that the citizenship law is an internal affair of Slovakia, but you came anyway. And you met with Slovak MP György Dimeši, and you did discuss the citizenship law with him. So, wasn't that an insult, disrespect of Ivan Korčok and Slovak diplomacy?
Look, I don't think so, or at least definitely was not my intention. Look, I went to Komárno, the place where I was born, by the way, and I have met the mayor there because we have some cooperation. I met him yesterday as well in Komárom when we inaugurated the first electric bus between the two sides of the Danube. So we meet pretty frequently as well. I met him, it was nothing extraordinary. I met the leaders of the SMK party, which was nothing extraordinary either. I meet them today as well. Whenever I come to Slovakia, I always meet them.
Actually, there are rumors that the SMK is financed by Viktor Alban.
Oh, well, let's leave it as a rumor.
It's not true.
Let's leave it as a rumor. There are many rumors, even more weird than that. Since Mr. Dimeši has asked for an appointment from me, I said, yeah, I mean, why not? Member of the Slovak Parliament, if would like to talk to me, I had some time, so I said, yeah, of course, I would be happy to meet him. But I don't think that's extraordinary either. Or at least if Ivan comes to Budapest and if he meets a Hungarian parliamentarian, I definitely wouldn't consider it as extraordinary or an insult.
Well, not the visit, but the topic of dual citizenship, right?
Well, actually, I mean, if it is being raised on a meeting, what should I do? Stand up and run out or what?
So did you brought up the topic or Mr. Dimeši?
Look, maybe it was Gyuri, but I definitely asked for his opinion about that. Why not? I mean, I don't see it's too extraordinary. What I do think is that the bilateral relations must be based on mutual respect. We always give the respect to the Slovak internal politics. We expect the same. We mostly get it as well. In the recent 10 years, I can tell you that our relationship has been developing in a very, very good way. I can say that the relationship has never been as good as it is currently. So that's why, I mean, these kind of artificial conflicts are definitely not useful. That's why I really would like to leave it behind us.
Okay, speaking of the dual citizenship law, how many Hungarians living in Slovakia do have Hungarian passport? Do you have the numbers? Because we don't.
I don't know.
You don't know? Is it like thousands, tens of thousands?
I have no clue about that. I only know that dual citizenship is an existing phenomenon or existing institution within the European Union. It is being applied in many countries. But regarding the Hungarians living here, whether they are Hungarian citizens or not, or how many they are, I have no idea.
What about the MP György Dimeši? Do you know if he does have the Hungarian passport?
No.
You have no idea?
No.
By the way, György Dimeši often speaks about Slovak Foreign Minister Ivan Korčok as somebody who hates Hungarians, who is Hungarophobic. Do you agree?
Look, I mean, you have to ask him why he says that.
You meet with him frequently. Do you have the sense that he hates Hungarians?
When I meet with Ivan, I don't have the feeling that he hates me. I hope this is the right feeling from my side. I like working together with him, and anyhow, it doesn't matter whether I like him or not. The thing is that he is the foreign minister of Slovakia, so that's why we have to work together. Now, we know each other for a long time because he served as a deputy minister, and when Miroslav was in New York to fulfill the position of the President of General Assembly of the United Nations, we worked together very closely with Ivan, and I never had the feeling that he would hate me, and I hope that this is not going to be the case in the future either. But I hope that they will have a chance with George, with Mr. Dimeshi, to, let's say, to clarify why they have such kind of feelings to each other, but their job again, because it's part of Slovak domestic politics, and it's not my job to discuss.
According to Igor Matovič, the former prime minister, you were the one who reached out to him about vaccine Sputnik. Is that right?
No, I helped him.
So you were not the one that reached out to him?
No, I helped him because he had a similar kind of approach than we did, or we do, regarding vaccines, that vaccines are not matters of ideology. They are tools to save lives. And since he looked for contacts in order to be able to buy Sputnik for your citizens to be vaccinated, I have helped him, because I had been in negotiations with the Russians since last October. About the procurement of Sputnik vaccines, and I gave him the contact. I even contacted Minister Manturov, Denis Manturov is the Minister of Industry and Trade of Russia. He is the cabinet member in Russia who is responsible for the vaccine production. I reached out to him. I told him that Prime Minister Matovič would call you. He said, okay, fine, no problem. So I made the contact between the two of them, and I was very happy to do that. And Mr. Matovič was not the only one to whom I helped. Just to make sure.
Can you clarify that?
How you mean
that? Whom else did you help?
Well, some other European leaders. Let's put it this way. Not very far from our region.
Would you name them?
I shouldn't, because they have not authorized me to do so. But he was not the only one I have helped.
Okay.
And whoever asked me to help in this regard, I always do.
It was just around the time when you wanted to discuss the citizenship law with Mr. Korčok. Maybe it's just a coincidence. That's why I ask, have you discussed with the Prime Minister Matovič that the Sputnik vaccine is a favor meant in return for a milder citizenship law?
No.
That was not the case?
No, absolutely not. Vaccines are tools to save lives, and you don't bargain with that.
In Slovakia, the Sputnik vaccination plan is a failure. Only several thousand people want to get the vaccine. Now, the expiration date is coming closer every day. And we have 200,000 of doses. Would you accept the Sputnik vaccine from Slovakia? Because otherwise it will go to waste here.
Look, I don't want to interfere into domestic issues of yours once again. It has not been on the agenda that we should take over any vaccines from you in an official way. We have enough vaccines in Hungary. We have bought them on time. We have 65% of all citizens above 16 who have been vaccinated. We have enough vaccines in the storage, so we don't need additional ones. But we were very satisfied with Sputnik. We have used all of them. People were very happy with that. Regarding the official data of the number of post-vaccination incidents, Sputnik performed the best so far in the country. So we were happy with that. We were happy that we could make the agreement with Russia, and we were extremely satisfied that the Russians have always delivered on time, exactly on time. So that helped a lot in order to make our vaccination campaign very quick. And that's how we were the first country in Europe to be able to come back to normality and reopen the economy. So Sputnik was very helpful in this regard.
You are the only country in Europe regularly employing COVID vaccines not approved by the European Health Agency, although your vaccination rates had been slightly before the other European countries. You were better, you were performing better. Now other countries are catching up, and the willingness of Hungarians to get vaccinated now decline, as in Slovakia as well. Moreover, those who received Chinese and Russian vaccine might have problem with traveling. Are you concerned that other EU countries will not grant smooth entry for your citizens that get the vaccine from China and from Russia?
Look, first of all, we have to make one thing very clear, because it's being denied and being faked quite many times, that according to the European regulations, there are two ways how a vaccination can be approved, either through the EMA, which we usually mention, but for some reason, the other way is never mentioned, which is enshrined in the European regulations, which says that under emergency circumstances, the national regulators are allowed to give the so-called emergency use authorization after a thorough procedure. Now, what happened in the case of Hungary? Our experts, national health experts, have traveled both to Russia and to China. They have went to the sites where Sinopharm and Sputnik vaccines are being manufactured. They have looked through the whole procedure. They have made the necessary consultations. They have looked through thousands of pages of documentation. And after this thorough procedure, they gave their consent for these vaccines to be used. So it was not like, just popping out from the heads of politicians that now it's okay to use them. It was based on a decision of the national regulator. And to be honest, I don't think that our national experts would be worse than those who sit in Brussels.
That was not the question. My question was
but it is
not if you approve the
denied.
vaccine or whatever, but if your citizens will not have problems to travel freely around the EU.
Look, what I can tell you regarding Sinopharm, it's very hypocritical that it is being considered as if it was a problem because the WHO has approved it. And whenever I took part on the meetings of the foreign affairs ministers in EU, WHO was always, praised. That's such a wonderful institution. And after Sinopharm was approved by them, now WHO is not that good institution.
Well, let's speak about Sputnik.
And regarding Sputnik, I don't know whether there will be a procedure completed by EMA or by WHO. We have no idea about that. What we know is that our national regulator gave the consent, and your national regulator gave the consent, by the way. So what I think is that the EU member states should not discriminate this vaccine, and we have made agreement with many countries already about the approval of Sputnik vaccines from Hungary, like Croatia, like Slovenia, like you yourself, like Czech Republic, and many other countries outside of the European Union. So I don't think it will be a problem in the future. I'm pretty sure that Sputnik is going to be approved soon.
The US? Will your citizens be able to travel to the US?
Why not? Or you mean those who have been vaccinated by Sputnik? Exactly. Well, it's the decision of the United States. I have no idea about that, but I understand that in case the vaccine with which you are vaccinated is not being approved by the given country, or if you are not vaccinated at all, then you need a test. That's what I know. So portraying this situation as if those who have been vaccinated by Sputnik would not be able to travel anywhere is not true, because what they maximum should do is making a test. But
or
I think
quarantine.
But I think it's discriminatory. It's discriminatory, and if we speak about that discrimination is bad, then I think it should be applied to all issues. Let's put it this way.
Let's talk about the Visegrad 4 and your relationship to the EU. Hungary now keeps stressing the importance of the Visegrad cooperation. However, the original idea of Visegrad was European integration, including rule of law and freedom of speech. Now, it seems that we have fundamental differences on some topics about democracy. Hungary and Poland are the only two countries in the history of the Union to have been investigated by the European Commission under Article 7 of the Union Treaty, which authorizes suspension of a member's voting rights if it's found in serious breach. Looks like right now Slovakia would not really benefit from the Visegrad 4 group.
Why don't you ask the Slovak government about that? How could I know that? What I know is that your prime ministers recently, your foreign ministers, your other ministers have always taken part on the V4 meetings. What I know is that they praise the cooperation. What I know is that Slovakia takes a lot of benefit out of it. If we had not been able to step up in a united way, for example, when it comes to migration, our countries would be full of illegal migrants, because we were able to block the obligatory quota system of the European Union. Do not forget that our economies are very strongly interdependent with each other. Do not forget that the supply chains are going through these countries. Do not forget that the trade between the four countries and Germany is like 70% higher than the trade between Germany and France. So I think all of our countries take a lot of benefit out of this cooperation. And when it comes to your, let's say, hidden opinion about our democracy, You know, I have to reject all these kind of accusations and be them hidden or open. People are not always brave enough to openly criticize us. They do it in a hidden way, you know, and they list phenomena which they think we are not applying. The thing is that our democracy is very well developed. We don't have to feel any kind of shame on it. The only thing what we cannot satisfy is the expectations of the liberal mainstream. I understand the liberal mainstream hates our policies. The liberal mainstream hates the fact that the liberal parties are in minority in Hungary. They hate the fact that we have won the last 3 elections with a 2/3 majority. But this is all based on the decision of the Hungarian people. And you know, when we are being portrayed as if we were autocracy or dictatorship because of the big majority of ours in parliament, I always tell these people that, look, we have not won it on lottery. We have won it on a free and fair democratic parliament elections. So Hungarian people decided this way. And challenging the maturity, challenging the right of the Hungarian people to make their own decision about their own future, now this is very anti-democratic.
Okay, I will get to that.
And you know, I never qualified. I never made any kind of comments about situation of democracy in other countries, including Slovakia.
Well, you can make them.
But why should I? Why should I? I'm not a Slovakian. It doesn't matter what I say about domestic issues here because, you know, I don't have a voting right. Let's leave it to the Slovaks. Let's leave it to them to decide. And when they go to the polling stations at on the parliament elections, they will decide. But, you know, constantly judging each other, judging other countries, and telling other countries how you should live because we know better than you yourself, this is very anti-European and very anti-democratic, I think.
But the thing is, you know, you often use your propaganda about Brussels and the EU. You say that Brussels establishment is in the pay of George Soros. And yet, you never talk about leaving the EU. Isn't this the very definition of hypocrisy? Because you certainly rely on billions of euros from the EU. And you are using the benefits of the EU, and at home you are portraying the EU as your worst enemy and George Soros slave, or what is it?
Okay, so 3 things you have said. First, who benefits from whom, right? Definitely we benefit of being members of the European Union. But European Union benefits of Hungary being member of the European Union, and Slovakia being member of the Union, by the way, because if you put into consideration how much profit Western European companies have been made either in the territories, either in Slovakia and Hungary, since we have entered the common market, and how much profit they have taken out from our countries just because we are members of the European Union, you might be surprised. Even according to the own assessment of the European Commission, I think it was last year, 70% of all European funds which arrive to our countries in Central Europe return to Western Europe through the profits of their companies. So portraying us, either Hungarians or Central Europeans as you wish, as countries which only take the benefit of being members of the European Union, not contributing, this is false, this is fake, this is not true. Second, regarding our debates about the future of Europe.
Why do you never talk about leaving the EU?
Because we don't want to. I mean, we don't want to leave, why should we? The debate about the future of the European Union. You know, if you or anybody considers it seriously, that there must be democracy in the European Union, it means that everybody has the right to take part in the debate about how the future of the European Union should look like. And then it has to be accepted that there might be countries which think differently about some issues regarding the European Union. For example, we don't think we should create a United States of Europe. We think that a strong EU needs strong member states. And we don't think that further competencies should be taken away from the member states.
Okay,
so there's but there's a strong debate about the future of EU, and I don't accept that we should not take part in this debate, or we should not voice our opinion. And third, regarding George Soros.
That was my next question.
George Soros has a totally different vision about the future of Hungary and future of European Union compared to we do.
The members are.
No, come on. George Soros finances a lot of organizations,
NGOs,
on the territory of the European Union, including Hungary, to shape the future of the European Union, to shape the public opinion. Now my question is, why should a democratically elected government not have the right to react or to represent his own opinion, which is based on the opinion of the people? Because those NGOs who are financed by George Soros, they don't represent the societies, they represent George Soros. And my question is that if we are democratically elected, based on the will of the people, then why should we have not an opinion on that?
But you say that the Brussels establishment is in the pay of George Soros.
Yeah, in many cases it's right, unfortunately. Look at the NGOs, look at the officials whom they work for, and then you will see. You will see. I mean, this is a fact.
It's not a fact. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is.
So it wouldn't be more honest to leave the EU?
What do you mean?
It wouldn't be more honest from Hungary to leave the EU?
Let me explain again. We are members of the European Union, and we will be members of the European Union. But we might have different opinion from other countries how European Union should be made strong. And it's very anti-democratic to say that, okay, if you don't agree with what we say, then leave. You know, it's very anti-democratic because this is against the freedom of expression, of opinion, or this goes against the freedom of speech. Because what happens is that there's a debate about the future of EU. Now, our interest is European Union to be strong in the future, stronger than currently, much stronger. But we think that we can only make EU strong in case the member states are themselves strong. Okay. And if we deny the rights of the member states, you know, to represent their opinion in this regard, that would be very anti-democratic.
You have upcoming elections in Hungary. Viktor Alban often claims that he and his government is fighting corruption. Last year, you were photographed on a multi-million luxury yacht, which is owned by a Maltese offshore company, whose ultimate beneficial owner is Laszlo C. I hope I'm pronouncing it right, a businessman whose companies have routinely won billions in government contracts in the past decade, making him one of the richest people in Hungary. Have you paid for the vacation yourself?
Look, my private life has nothing to do with my official life. And I have a very sharp line between the two of them. And I always complied with all the expectations and regulations which apply to politicians. So you can be sure that I never commented my private issues because they have nothing to do with my official stuff.
So did you pay for the vacation?
Once I can just...
That's not your private life.
No, it is. Sorry, if I go with my family to a holiday, it's my private life.
Shouldn't you be transparent about who pays for your luxury vacation? Even though it's your private time on your vacation?
I'm very transparent. Everybody knows that I'm coming from a wealthy family. Hungarian media has wrote a lot about my parents, how they became wealthy, how they made me wealthy. So, you know, since I have no interdependence between private life and official life, I never commented my private life because it's my own stuff and my family's one.
If you come from a wealthy family, why is it a problem to say that you paid for your vacation yourself? None of
business of anyone. It's our family's business.
You have upcoming elections, I've mentioned that, in a year. The international watchdog OCSE claims that the two elections you have organized in 2014 and 2018 were not fair, although they were free.
Who said that?
OSCE.
Okay.
Moreover, the elections were and will be organized under the election law that you have changed. The opposition has no presence in the state-controlled media. Now your government is outsourcing crucial state assets and billions of euros to private foundations, which cannot be changed by any upcoming government. So it looks like you are preparing to lose the elections.
Well, you know, it's since I was enrolled in a Benedictine high school, I was taught and I was taught by my parents as well to be polite with ladies, but this is being ridiculous what was said here. Sorry to say that. No, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You know, whenever the liberals or the socialists or the leftists lose an election, it is always being considered as not fair, as not democratic, whatever. I'll tell you a good example. Back in 2018, which was our last parliament elections, during the whole day, opposition, meaning left side, including their media, were celebrating the democracy being, you know, reborn in Hungary because the turnout was very high. I mean, it was record high. Okay, so during the whole day, Hungarian democracy was strong and vivid. Then after 7 p.m., when the balloting places were closed or the polling stations were closed, and the results started to be published, you know, and it turned out that we made a landslide victory. Then opposition said it was anti-democratic, it was not fair, so it's ridiculous.
But you did
Whenever
change
you
the
lose,
election law.
the parliament did. The parliament did.
Which Fidesz has the majority.
Okay, but why?
That's not because the case, but you did change the election law.
And is it a sin or what?
No, it's not a sin, but it doesn't look like a fair election.
Was it democratic? Why? Tell me why it's not fair.
Because the opposition had to unite. They were forced to unite.
No, they were not.
I cannot tell you the details. I mean, they have to have the list of the candidates
you make here
together,
a statement.
right?
You made here a statement. You said it's anti-democratic, but you can't tell me why.
And now you are outsourcing crucial state assets and billions of euros to private foundations of the universities. Is that correct?
But is it a sin? Is it bad or what?
It's not a sin.
Is it bad?
Well, Hungarians have to decide
Okay, they will.
in the elections.
They will.
But
They will have the chance for that.
will it be
Next
fair
April.
for the opposition?
As it was always. As it was always. What I cannot help is that if they lose again, they will say again it was not fair. But, you know, it's a habit here. Since 2010, since we have been winning elections by 2/3 majority. 3 elections with 2/3 majority, okay, in parliament. It was always said by opposition that no, it was not fair. It's being ridiculous.
So the opposition could win, according to the polls. Are you preparing that you could lose?
No, we want to win.
Okay, thank you very much. We will see how it ends.
Well, yeah.
Péter Szijjártó, thank you
Thanks.
very much.
Thank you.
Ak chcete podporiť kvalitný obsah, ale aj naše videá, najlepšie urobíte, ak si predplatíte denník SME na sme.sk/predplatné. A ak chcete, aby vám na budúce žiadne nové video neušlo, stačí, keď nám dáte na našom YouTube kanáli denníka SME odber a zapnete si upozornenia. Ďakujeme.